Question for you guys. Do you guys know what yesterday was? What was yesterday?
Groundbreaking ceremony.
Okay, groundbreaking ceremony, that's true. But not just for the church-wise. Yesterday was an important day. Anyone take a guess?
Susan's birthday.
No.
Susan, her birthday today.
Anyone? Really, Ellen? You don't know?
Adoption day.
Huh? Okay, oh, I thought it was adoption day.
Adoption day.
Okay, adoption day. Yesterday, if you didn't know, it was adoption day. And Ellen was at the shelter. And if you wanted a pet for like a really decent price, for all vaccinations and everything for $20, yesterday would have been the day for you to go to the vet and pick up a free puppy. Well, not free, but you know, puppy, right? So here's the thing. Growing up, I used to love animals. All my life, we used to have dogs all around us. I think 99% of the time, animals that we had was dogs. And I say dogs 0.9% of the time. But at the same time, we used to have fish, goldfish, and all that. But I don't really consider those goldfish. Consider those pets. When you guys were growing up, I know people ask you this question. If you could have any animal out there, what would you want? What would you guys used to say?
Eagle.
An eagle, a fox, elephant,
Penguin.
penguin, dolphin. For me, it was 3 animals. Number 1, obviously dog, because I used to love dogs. Okay. Number 2, a parrot. And guess what my number 3rd animal was?
Bear.
Monkey. Who said monkey? Okay, Michael. Monkey. Here's why. I would always picture myself with the dog, a parrot, and a monkey. Because I would think, okay, dog, you get them on a leash and then they can walk by you. A parrot looks so dope if you have it on your shoulder. And a monkey, I always like to hold hands and then walk down the street with a monkey. So I remember thinking as a kid, I was like, man, if I had those 3 animals, and I'll be so popular, you know, people will love me. And I was like, man, I'll take care of the monkey so well, right? Here's why I love animals, and especially I love dogs, right? Think about this. If you take care of your dog, right, I'm not talking about cats. If you take care of your dogs, this is what the dog will say. You know what, Jacob? You feed me, you love me, you take care of me. Jacob, you must be my God. I will serve you for the rest of my life. Right? That's the attitude of a dog. But here's why, I'm sorry if you want a cat, but here's why I don't like cats. If you want a cat and then you do the same thing, you know, you feed me, you love me, you take care of me, you know what the cat is gonna say? I must be your God. You know, you will serve me. Right? This is why I love dogs, because you know they're loyal. And pets, if you own pets, I know some of you guys do, you know, like Andrew. It's okay, cats are still good. We need them for killing rats and horror movies and all that. Okay? Here's the thing. If you think about those animals, right, you're thinking to yourself, man, cats, you know, they're kind of shady, right? They don't know how to give thanks to their owner. But if you really think about it, that's the exact attitude of the Israelites. Over and over and over and over again, no matter how good God is, they fall into sin every single time. And not only for the Israelites, but many times also in our life, we also react the same way. Right? God is good to us. God, you know, He helps us. Every time we call Him out, but most of the time He's there to back us. But every time we forget about God, and we go, oh yeah, you know, God's not that person. It's all about me. And again, that's the attitude of the Israelites. If we go into the book of Judges, right? Judges, not Joshua. Here's the thing. Judges chapter 9, the chapter that we're going to be looking at, is actually a very, very dark chapter. Here's why I say it's very dark. It's a really long chapter, and if you actually look into it, this is very kind of interesting. Because in this chapter, the word, actually I'm not going to get you. Let me ask you a question. What is God's covenant name in Hebrew?
Oh.
What is God's covenant name in Hebrew?
Yahweh.
Yahweh, right? Yahweh. If you look at this chapter, the word Yahweh, or as we see it in the English Bible, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, in other chapters it comes out over and over and over again. But here in Judges chapter 9, it actually does not come out at all. This is why we consider this one of the darker chapters of this book. Here's something very interesting. If you look at the book of Judges, right? The word Yahweh in chapter 1 and 5 times, 2, 23, 15, 8, 14, 25, 8, 4. But here, the word Yahweh or the word God, right? The Lord, it doesn't come out at all. And then again, next chapter we see it again, 11, and then it comes out in 14 times. That's why this chapter, you know, when we actually look at it, it seems like, God, where are you? Why is so much evil happening in this chapter? That might be the mindset that we have. So as I give you a summary of the book. I want you to actually think about the question. Again, this chapter is really long, so we're not going to read everything. It will take forever. But I'm going to just give you a brief summary of the book. Chapter 6, 7, and 8. Who do we learn about? Gideon, right? There's a guy named Gideon, right? And then you see that at the end of chapter 8, you see that Gideon defeats 135,000 people with how many people? With 300 men, right? So at the end, they want Gideon to become king, but Gideon's like, no, I don't want to become king. I'm not king. But our God is God, and He is king. And at the end of it, we talked about how the cycle of sins will continue on. If you remember from your memory, how many sons did Gideon have? I kind of heard it. Don't be shy. Say it out. 70? Okay, 71, right? 71 is right. But in the Bible, it says 70. Gideon, he has 70 sons with lots of different wives, right? So we know that Gideon, he has a son. But on top of the 70, Gideon has another son with a different concubine. And his name is Elimelech. And him is very important because if you read in the other parts of the Bible, it talks about how when God he raises a deliverer or a judge, what does God do? God will go to the person and be like, hey, you, what? I want you to go and I want you to rescue the nation. But here we see something a little bit different. Instead of God raising up the judge, we see a guy, one of Gideon's sons, he raises himself up and he says, you know what? I'm going to become the king. I'm going to become the ruler. So again, if you have your Bible, please turn with me to Judges chapter 9. Judges chapter 9. So we see again Elimelech, and for him, his name is actually very important. Whenever you read the Old Testament, and especially when you look at the name, there's a lot of names that start with the word A-B, the beginning, Ab. Can anyone take a guess? What does that word mean in English? In Hebrew, the word, when you look at A-B, Ab, what do you think that word means?
New.
It kind of sounds like a Korean word, Ab. Abba, okay, good. It means Abba, it means dad. And then there's another word after A-B. What's the word? What's the spelling? I, right? That means I. And then the last word, it actually means king. So for his name, he's saying, you know what? My dad or my father is a king. And when we read this, we could be like, okay, I see that, this guy is a good guy. Maybe he's saying, you know what? God the Father is Father. But in fact, that's not the meaning we should actually be at. He's saying, you know what? My dad, right, Gideon, he's saying Gideon is the king. So if you have your Bibles again, Judges chapter 9, let's read verse 1 all together. We're not going to have it up here, but let's read it all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, we see a guy by the name of Elimelech. And for him, what is going on? This story is very interesting because Elimelech, he's not part of the 70, but he's again with a different lady, with a concubine. This is his thinking. He wants to become the king, so he goes to his mom's hometown. And he tells the people, he asks them this question. Hey guys, do you guys want a king? And he says this, do you want 70 people to rule over you? Or do you want just one person to rule over you? And he says, by the way, my bloodline and your bloodline, we're from the same family. My mom, she grew up in your hometown, and me, I have the blood in me. So the people think about it, and the leaders go, you know what? We want you to become our king. Forget the 70, you know what? We want you to become our king. And they appoint him as king, and when they appointed him as king, they also gave him money. They gave him 70 pieces of silver, and what do you think they gave him 70 pieces of silver? What do we know about his family? 70 sons, right? So they gave him 70 pieces of silver, and in a way, they were saying, you know what? We want you to work for us. We're gonna give you money, so make sure you're being a good king to us. So even in the hearts of the people, we know that they're kind of greedy. And the story continues on, and with the money that he gave, he hires a lot of people, and Elimelech, he goes into Gideon's hometown. Can anyone remember the hometown of Gideon? It starts with O. There's a lady that has a name, Oprah, right? He goes there and he captures 70 of his brothers, and guess what he does to them? He executes them. So if you actually read in the Bible, the word that it uses in verse 9 is this. with one stone, right, he kills off 70 of his brothers. So most likely, he got them all tied up. It was a public execution where with the same weapon, whether it be a stone or whatever that weapon was, they used the same weapon to kill one by one all 70 of his brothers. But something very interesting happened. Not all 70 actually died. We read that one of the youngest brother, his name was Jotham, he actually ran away and he hid, and he was actually able to spare his life. So 69 of his brothers died, but the youngest one survived. Right? So think about it. This guy, all of his brothers died in the hands of his half brother, and he's very angry, very sad. What does he do? We read a very interesting story where the youngest brother, he goes up to the mountain and he shares a very, very interesting story. And the story that he shared is actually about a tree. And if you kind of like listen to it for the first time, you're gonna be thinking, oh, that's kind of weird. This doesn't really make any sense. So I'll explain the story that he shared, and I'll give you the meaning. So in this story about trees that he talks about, this is how the story goes. There are trees, and the trees wanted to appoint a new king. So the trees, they first go to an olive tree. And they go to the olive tree and say, hey, olive tree, would you like to become king for us? And the olive tree goes, you know what, I don't really want to be honored, right? I want to live my regular life. You know what? I don't want to become king. So the trees go, okay, olive tree, if you don't want to become our king, we're totally fine. We're going to move on to the next person. So they find a different tree and they go to a fig tree. They go to a fig tree and they ask the same question, hey, fig tree, we need a king. We would like to appoint you as our king. Would you like to become our king? And again, the fig tree goes, you know what? No, I don't want to be honored. You know what? I'm not the king. I don't want to become king. Look for someone else. And then they finally go to a vine, and they go to a vine and they say the same thing. Hey, vine, we're looking for a king. We would love for you to become our king. Would you like to become our king? And again, they hear the same answer. No, I do not want to be a king. And finally, they come to like a bush, like a thorn bush. And they come to this thorn bush and they say this. Hey, you know what? We're looking for a king. We would like to appoint you as king. Would you like to become our king? And if you think about it, a thorn bush, it's good for nothing, right? It's not that expensive. It's dry. It's so easy to catch on fire. But this thorn bush, he says this. You know what? I like it. I want to become your king. So he accepts their offer, and this thorn bush, he becomes the king. This is a very interesting story that the young brother he gives, and this is what the story is saying. Before our father Gideon, right? You guys wanted to become king, but what did Gideon say? Gideon said, "I don't want to become your king. My sons, they're not going to become your king, and my grandchildren, they're not going to become your king." Right? That's what the story is explaining. But out of nowhere, right? We see that Elimelech, he comes, right? One of the sons of Gideon, he comes, he's saying that, you know what? Okay, I want to become the king. In this story, if you think about it, right? The bush is saying, if you come to me, I'm gonna help you a lot. I'm gonna offer you shade, and with me, you're gonna get protection. But picture with me this ghetto-looking, like a bush, right? Do you think a ghetto-looking thorn bush, out of all that, could give people shade? Of course not. It's very limited. But he's saying, you know what? I'm gonna offer you guys peace. I'm gonna give you shelter. I'm gonna help you out. And towards the end of the story, the younger brother, right, that's hiding, he said this story. If you guys picture a king with integrity, right? If you guys picked out a new king because you guys thought he was a really good man, then you know what? So I'm okay with it. But he's saying, if you picked out our next king, and it was not due to integrity, he's saying, you know what? At the end, you're gonna get punished. You're gonna get punished with death by fire. Right? That's like the story that he gives. And then time goes by. Again, Elimelech, he becomes a new king, and he's king for 3 years. And something very interesting happened. This is what God said. God said that he sent his evil spirits. God allowed the evil spirit to come upon the people. And when you think about this, it's so weird. Again, the leaders of the land, they say, you know what, Elimelech, we want you to become our king. But obviously, God didn't like that, and he sent evil spirit upon those people, and they turned their back against this king and say, you know what, we don't want you to become our king. And if you hear this and think, are you saying that God would allow evil spirit to go into people? You know what? Scary thing is, he could. And I'm actually going to talk about it a little bit at the end. But this is how the story goes. If you think, does that mean that evil spirit, they could come and they could go to any person and change people's will? Right? Let's say, I love God and God goes, okay, Jake, send the evil spirit upon God and allow Jake to turn against God. That cannot happen, right? But by the evil spirit going into the person, here's what it means. Your will, it doesn't change, but the thing that you are already planning in your heart, your evil desire, God is actually saying, okay, if that's the direction that you're gonna go, I'm gonna actually help you accelerate. I'm gonna actually help the evil spirit help you go through that direction a little bit faster. In other words, let's say you're driving your car and you're thinking of, hey man, I want to just go down and kill myself, go down a cliff, right? By evil spirit going around you, God is saying, okay, if you really want that to happen, I'm gonna just make it happen faster. I'm gonna make you step on the gas a little bit faster. Or let's say you're trying to burn down a house. God is saying, okay, that's the desire that you already want and you already planned it. You know what? I'm gonna add fuel to the fire. It's gonna burn faster. If you're confused, don't worry. We're gonna come back to it in a bit, right? So that comes along. So from today's story, right? From today's passage, what are two things that we can learn about God, and especially maybe about the characteristics of God? But the first thing that we can learn is this: God is holy, and because God is holy, evil will not go unpunished. Evil will not go unpunished. And the second thing that we'll learn about God is this: God's justice will come. Yes, that will bring judgment. God, along with that, He's going to do it with grace. God's judgment will come, but it's going to come with grace. The first thing that we're going to talk about: evil will not go unpunished. Here's something we need to realize. God, He sees everything, and God, He is sovereign. As you know, we all want justice. When something that is shady happens in our life, what do we say? We tell God, or we tell people around us, that is not fair. We want justice. Someone needs to pay for that sin, right? If you see someone that's starving in the street, you go, oh my gosh, why isn't it fair? This isn't fair. If you see a little kid getting abused, you're thinking, you know what, God, this is not justice. This is not fair. If you see him in trafficking, or if you see pain, if you see hurt in the world, right? Obviously, you're going to think in your head, this is not fair. What is one of the many phrases I used as a kid? Right? It's not fair. Right? Your teacher tells you to do something, you go, oh man, it's not fair. Your mom tells you to do something, you go, it's not fair. Right? We always say it's not fair. How come you get more ice cream than me? How come you're taller than me? How come you're more good looking than me? I don't know. Obviously that's not true, but right? We always complain before God. That's the attitude that we have before people when we're growing up. But if you actually think about it, that same attitude we carry on even now. We still say it's not fair. And of course, we don't say it's not fair because you get more fruit than us, you get more, you get less homework, that's silly. But instead, we complain about other things. Again, when we see injustice are happening around us, we tend to ask God, God, why is this happening around me? Life isn't fair. And if you think about it, people in Judges chapter 9, right, same thing is happening. If you're from the hometown of Gideon, right, the people are thinking, God, life isn't fair. Why would you allow 70 sons of Gideon to die? This isn't fair. But if you actually read on, right, we can see that God, He is fair. And we know that God, because He's so holy, evil, right, if you commit evil, evil will go unpunished. Here's something we need to realize. God, He knows everything and He sees everything. If you're one of the people living inside chapter 9, right? Let's say you go time travel, you go back to Judges chapter 9. If you're one of the people living in the village, as this is going on, you have no clue what God is doing, right? You're going to think to yourself, where is God in this situation? I don't see how God is working in this situation. But for us, as the reader of this book, right, we see a bigger picture, and we realize, okay, I see what is going on. I see that God, you know what, you're moving. God, you're allowing things to happen. There's a reason behind all this thing. Again, we see something very interesting. Again, at the end of the mountain story, when the younger brother, he talked about the tree, becoming a king, at the end he said this: people, if you pick the new king and you did it with honor, you did it with integrity, nothing's gonna happen to you. But if you pick the king with bad motive, what did he say? He said you're gonna get punished and the king's gonna burn up. So let's see what happens now. We see that in Judges chapter 9, verse 26. We see that there's a new guy that comes into town. His name is Gal, and Gal, he comes into town and he brings his relatives. And as he comes into town, this random guy that just comes into town, right, he's thinking to himself, oh, I want to become you king now, right? I want to become the king of the land, right? And somehow he tells the people of the land, you know what, I want to become king, I gotta become a good king. And somehow, right, of course, it was because God allowed it by sending evil spirit and allowing the evil spirit to split and hate their king. And somehow the leaders of the land, they said the same thing. They said, you know what, Gal, I think you're gonna become a better king. You know the king that we have right now? You know, Abimelech, he's okay guy, but we don't really like him. We think you're gonna become a better king. So what happened? Abimelech, word gets to him saying there's a new guy in town and he wants to take your spot. So what happens? A battle is about to happen. But again, we need to remember this. God, He sees everything, He knows everything. Our God is sovereign, and evil will go unpunished. Again, God, He sends an evil spirit. And by the way, about 2 months ago, we went over this every topic called Satan 101. If you want to learn more about Satan, you can easily just log on to our college website. And I think we have 3 videos up there about Satan and like different things that he does. And for more detail, you guys can actually look into that. But again, evil spirit goes in, they make the leader, change their decision. There's conflict, and a war is about to happen. So what happens? Abimelech and his men, right? They go and they say, you know what, we're gonna go over, we're gonna kill Gal and every people that support Gal. So they go, they chase him down, and the supporters of Gal, they get trapped into a tower. There's men, women, children, Gal, and the leaders of the land, they go into a tower. And as they were trapped inside of the tower, Abimelech, this is what he said. You know what, men, he tells his men, I want you to go out and get firewood, and we're gonna surround this building. So they go, they chop that thing up, and they surround the building with firewood, and guess what they do? They burn everything down. And it said that 1,000 people on that day, they died. They died. That's verse 30. That's verse 49. But it doesn't stop there. Abimelech, he continues to go on and killing spree. He goes to the next city, and once again, he does the same thing. He traps everyone in the city into a tower. And again, when everyone is trapped inside the tower, he does the same thing. He ordered his men, hey, I want you to go up there, I want you to gather a firewood, and I want you to place it around the city. We're going to burn them again, and we're going to kill them. And as he does this, something very interesting happens. We're going to check to verses 53. Judges chapter 9, verse 53. And we're going to read 53 to 57 together. Let's have the sisters, you guys can read the odd, and brothers, let's read the even number. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on, let's read it together. Ready? Girls odd, brothers even. 1, 2, 3.
God returned the evil around him when he committed against his father, including his 70 brothers.
Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3.
And God also made all the evil of the land of Shechem return on their heads, and upon them came the prince of Jordan, the son of Jerubbaal.
If you remember from the beginning of the story, how does Abimelech kill his brother? The word that they use is he killed his brother with one stone. That's actually a very important word because that idea, it kind of plays along right here. We see that Abimelech, obviously he's a sharp person, he's a good warrior, right? He kills thousands and thousands of people, but how he dies is actually supposed to be comical if you read it, right? How does he die? He dies in the hand of a random, not a soldier, not a man, but in the hand of a woman. During this time, right, if you die in the hand of a child or a woman, right, that's not a good thing. That means you're not a man. That means you should not be a warrior. So what happens? We see that there's a lady on top of a tower, and she has a millstone. You guys know what a millstone is? right? If you picture your grandma and she wants to make 된장, right? She wants to make 된장 or what is that one nasty smelling 청국장, right? If she wants to make 청국장, what does she do? She has her stone thingy and then she puts the bean and then like she does it, right? That's the millstone. This random lady, she gets the millstone and she feels automatic. What does she do? She kind of chucks it down and this millstone, it lands on his head and he cracks his skull open. And right before he dies, what does he say? Again, during this time, if you die in the hand of a woman, especially you're a man, right, people will laugh at you, right? So for him, in order for him to, in a way, save his legacy, what does he do? He tells his servants, he tells his armor bearer, he said, you know what, man, I do not want to die in the hand of a woman, right? I want you to draw out the sword, and I want you to stab me, and I want you to die. In that way, when people look at his body, they'll be like, oh, okay. He didn't die for the woman anymore, he was actually okay. But later on, during battle, he actually got stabbed, and that's why he died. He died honorable death. So we see how foolish and how prideful Elimelech is. But again, what does God do? When God sees evil, He's not gonna say evil. I'm gonna say, you know what, it's gonna be okay. Again, here's something we need to realize. At times, we will question God and say, God, where are you in this situation? God, I can't see you. But God is a God of justice, and He will not let evil go unpunished. But maybe you're really thinking, okay, Pastor God, I fully agree. Why are there so many evil happening all around us? Right? There's so many terrorist attacks, right? There's so many people dying, people getting shot even in our country. Right? There's wars going on all over. In my family, my parents or uncle or whatever, right? People are getting sick. God, why is there so many injustice happening in our life? God, can you really be just? But here's something I want you to think about. If you really want God to be just, and if you really want God to carry out His judgment right now, you know what's going to happen? No one here, right? No one's going to remain standing. Why? Because God is so holy, He cannot stand evil or sin. And obviously, as you know, the Bible tells us that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. No one could come to God and say, God, I am righteous. We are all sinners before God. In other words, if we say to God, God, can you just carry out your justice right now at the very moment and kill all injustice? That means that none of us, we will remain standing. That's why, thankfully, going on to point number 2, God, He is just, right? He's a righteous God, but at the same time, we know that God is a God of grace. Here's something very important. We read over and over again that the people of God, the people of Israel, they forgot about God. It says that over and over again in the book of Judges, that the people of Israel, they forgot about God. Here's something I want you to think about. When we read the people of Israel, they forgot about God, do you think what this is what people are actually saying? Who's Yahweh? I don't know who Yahweh is. What's Ten Commandment? I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Do you think that was the mindset of the people hearing this? Of course not. They're Old Testament people and they knew about God. But when we read that people, they actually forgot about God, this is what it means. They didn't really actually forget about God, but they actually knew about God. But it means that people, even though they had knowledge of God, right, the way that they behaved, it wasn't according to what they knew about God. That's why we read over and over again in the book of Judges that people, they did right whatever they thought it was right. People did right in their own ways. Here's something very important. When I ask a question or when we hear this message, we tend to think to ourselves, you know what, God? People here in Israel, they said that they forgot about you. But me, I didn't forget about you. God, I know who you are. If someone were to come up to me and ask me like a Bible question, you know what, God? I'm gonna answer that because I know a lot about the Bible. But if your lifestyle is different from what you know, in a way, you have also forgotten about God. Why? Because we don't let the truth of God reign over our life. We need to allow the truth of God to reign over our life. Again, these people, they knew of God, but they didn't really know God. Why? Because obviously they didn't live out according to the will of God. The Israelites, they didn't deserve mercy at all. Yet, we see the God of grace here in this picture. Why? Because even though they're sinners, God still comes to the rescue. For people in Judges chapter 9, again, they had no clue what is going on. But for us as a reader, we know that God is God, and that God, He punishes evil, but at the same time, we see that God is the God of grace. Why? The first thing that God does, again, is this. He sends an evil spirit, right? He sends an evil spirit, and He allows the leadership to split. And because of that, leading up to it, God, through the hands of a woman, He kills this evil king. What's sad about today's story is this. From Judges chapter 1 through 8, you see that whenever people sin against God, when they did evil inside of God, what did God do? God, He sends a foreign nation to punish them. But here, the Israelites, they did evil in the sight of God. But instead of God sending a foreign nation, what does God do? He allowed the Israelites to fight amongst themselves. Again, every single one of them, they deserve death. But because God is a God of grace, He shows mercy upon the people. Even though God knew that again, they're going to repeat the cycle of sin over and over again. Here's something I want you to think about. First thing I want you to think about is, where is God in your life today? Where is God in your life today? Second thing I want you to think about is this. In what areas of my life do I need to surrender to God today? In what areas of my life do I need to surrender to God today? Number 3, have you forgotten about God? Have you forgotten about God? Obviously, we all know God. I'm saying, does your will, does the way that you behave, does that really reflect who you are, who you proclaim to be? Let's pray. Father God, we come before you, and God, again, Lord, we want to thank you for who you are, and God, we want to thank you, Lord, for your mercy. And God, we thank you, Father God, that you are just God, and God, that you do not let evil go unpunished. But at the same time, Father God, we want to thank you, Lord, for the grace that you have shown us, not for what we did, but for God, just for who you are and the work that your Son Jesus Christ did for us. God, we thank you, Father God, that although we deserve punishment, that in Christ, Father God, that we have been saved. God, would you help us to learn from the Israelites? God, instead of repeating the cycle of sin over and over and over again, God, would you help us, Father God, to break the chain of sin? And God, we thank you, God, again, that you are our ultimate judge, that you are our ultimate deliverer. So God, would you help us, Father God, to run to you and seek you. God, we thank you for who you are. We love you, and in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Let's all stand.